They will come back to ski every winter for the rest of their lives. It will keep them away from bars and nightlife, for they will prefer a weekend of skiing to almost any kind of entertainment. And with skiing comes the inspiring feeling of being always in good physical condition. Hans Teichner, 1947.
He was known as the father of Michigan high school skiing and the man who single-handedly established the sport of skiing in the Grand Traverse region. Hans Teichner, born in 1908 in Plauen, Germany, was the third child of a prominent merchant. Because of a club foot, one leg shorter than the other, and a severe case of asthma, the family doctor encouraged the child to take up mountain climbing to build up his strength. He soon took up skiing and became so proficient at the sport that he was invited to join the German national ski team. However, with the rise of Nazism, Teichner decided to flee the country and move to Spain, where he was offered the job of coaching their national ski team. While in Spain, the Spanish Civil War broke out, and the ski team was disbanded. Using his knowledge of the mountains, Teichner smuggled loyalists over the Pyrenees into France. One day, while crossing a mountain peak, he was discovered by a group of fascist soldiers.
At the top of the ridges of the Pyrenees, he was discovered by a group of the guards who were skiing back and forth, patrolling that ridge. His head was on the line right then. He ran through the snow for a ways to a place where he had already cached some skis. And he got the skis on, and then the guards were getting pretty close to him by the time they saw him and started chasing him. And he skied down the mountains away from them, taking all kinds of chances over routes that nobody had seen before. He skied them, or jumping things, this sort of thing. Skied out of sight of his original ski team members. There was only one person in Spain who could possibly have done that.
Teichner later fled to the United States, where he found work at a dude ranch in Wyoming. He developed a local ski area, taught tennis, and performed part-time at the Cheyenne Rodeo. A year later, he became a ski instructor at Sun Valley under Friedel Pfeiffer. Teichner was soon socializing with the rich and famous at America's most glamorous ski resort. His students included Claudette Colbert, Ann Southern, and Ray Milland. After spending the war years with the Army's 10th Mountain Division, Teichner accepted a job offer to develop a ski area near Traverse City, Sugarloaf. His first priority was to certify adults.
These adults were scared to death, and many of them afraid to make fools of themselves or anything else. He could tease them and kid them out of that with this brusque, half-German talk. He cajoled them into it, and very quickly had us all skiing at least partially well.
When Traverse City opened a ski hill in 1952, Teichner volunteered his time to organize and run the Traverse City Record Eagles Ski School. It provided free ski instruction to children 6 years and older. The program was a huge success, with hundreds of children enrolling in the program each year. Teichner felt the popularity and growth of the sport was directly related to the safety and competency of skiers.
He was very demanding, and there weren't a lot of compliments thrown about as the teaching went on. But one always had the feeling that he cared very much. He cared about the kids, especially, I think. He was drawn to the children. And maybe that's because there was always something a little bit childlike about Peppi. And sometimes when we would tease him or purposely mess up on the gates when we were practicing slalom, he'd put his hands on his hips and he'd stare at us and say, "That is very unfunny." I can see him still with lines of little bitty children, some of them just 5, 6 years old, 7 years old. He seemed to have the most patience with them. He would get out and demonstrate, and over and over and over again, a snowplow turn, for example. And when he was in the midst of it, he would be saying, "Bend ze knees." And that after enough lessons, they would be presented with a ski school patch, which they immediately would take home and have mother sew on their jacket because they were so proud of having graduated from the ski school.
Teichner's job of developing Sugarloaf never materialized. To remain in the area, he took a teaching position at the Leelanau School, where he began a ski team. Since skiing was not a high school sport, he wrote many of the rules for competition.
Adopted as a competitive high school sport on a trial basis, skiing has become a part of the athletic program of many West Michigan schools, with both boys and girls participating. Here at Sugarloaf Mountain on the Leelanau Peninsula, 7 miles south of Leland, the youngsters compete in downhill races, slalom, cross-country, and short jumping events. Instruction here at Sugarloaf is given by Peppi Teichner, originally from Sun Valley.
Teichner also played an important advisory role in the formation of the Grand Traverse Ski Club.
Well, the Grand Traverse Ski Club might have been the original whose mission was to foster junior racing. Many ski clubs were formed, but they were mostly social and maybe for adults. But the Grand Traverse Ski Club was dedicated to junior racing, and it showed. Fred Lonsdorf's program up in Houghton Hancock, and Peppi Teichner's down here, and then subsequently Stein Erickson would be invited down, and then Otmar Schneider and his Austrian crew would come down 2 nights a week and teach our kids. That became quite a potent influence on our skiing in this region.
Teichner pioneered the practice of taking local ski team members to Aspen, Colorado each spring.
I think he was a surrogate father to us all. He was a hard taskmaster. He was Prussian to a degree. He demanded the best, and he got it, but he did it in a gentle fashion. And we all hero worshipped him, and we all tried to emulate Peppi. And if you could emulate Peppi, you'd do fine. He took myself and 2 of my friends under his wing and cultivated our skiing techniques by taking us out west, and we had a leg up on anyone else in the Midwest because Peppi was our tutor.
In 1957, Hans Teichner passed on. In the span of a single decade, he introduced an entire community to skiing. During each ski season, he volunteered hundreds of hours teaching children, organizing high school meets, and certifying adults as teachers. But above all, his desire was to teach skier safety and respect for the sport.